How to make sure your divorce agreement is legally binding. Hi, I'm Tim Blankenship with divorce661.com. If you and your spouse have reached an agreement on your divorce terms, that's great. But the next critical step is making sure that agreement is legally binding and enforceable. Here's how to do that properly in California. First, just writing down what you've agreed to on your own isn't enough. For your divorce agreement to be recognized by the court, it must be submitted as part of your final judgment package and formally approved by a judge. This means your agreement needs to be written clearly, using proper legal language, and must cover all necessary issues, like division of property, custody, support, and debts. A vague or incomplete agreement can be rejected by the court or challenged later on. We've seen couples bring in handwritten or DIY agreements they thought were valid, only to find out the court rejected them or wouldn't enforce the terms. In one case, a couple agreed on splitting retirement accounts, but didn't include the required legal language. We had to rewrite and resubmit it properly to get it approved. At Divorce 661, we specialize in drafting divorce settlement agreements that meet all court requirements. We make sure your terms are clear, complete, and filed correctly as part of your final judgment, so you can avoid future issues. We'll also make sure your agreement includes things like waivers of spousal support if that's part of your deal, and that both parties sign all necessary forms under penalty of perjury. Remember, even if you're in full agreement, your divorce isn't final until the court approves the judgment package. That's what turns your agreement into a binding court order that both sides must follow. If you want to be sure your divorce agreement is legally binding and properly filed with the court, visit divorce661.com for a free consultation. We'll handle the paperwork so you can move on with peace of mind.